Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. This morning, I'm going to finish off the insulation on the partition wall. Kind of looks like a bomb went off in here. When I was doing this insulation on this wall a couple days ago, I took off yesterday. I was in a huge rush to get this insulated before we had a minus 13 day. It's not that bad out right now. I think it's like 17 degrees, but it's going to get down to minus 11 tomorrow night, and then one more really cold day, and then the cold snap is over. But regardless of that, I need to finish up this wall. First thing I got to do, we'll show you that on the other side of the wall here. I had to go around and remove the XPS from this side of the door. That was on the wall right there. So this is where I left off with the Batt insulation. What I think I'm going to do is just cut this plastic around the door and leave this airlock in place. I'm still going to put the foam on both sides of the door at night to keep the heat in, but I want to have this airlock intact so that it's easier to get in and out during the day. So I guess that's the first thing I'm going to do. Trim around the door, then pull this plastic off and get some measurements. I have 1, 2, 3 narrow ones, and the rest of them are full width. So let's get this trimmed and get moving on this. Alright, the Batt insulation is done. Let's take a look at the list here. Install strip. Oh, that's the strip along the edge of the door opening right here. Don't really need to do that next. Foam the bottom gap. For any of this stuff, I got to move all this stuff away from the wall. I'm not going to do any cleaning today. I'm just going to jump into this foaming. Foam sides. What we have, I believe it's only on this side. There is a small gap right here. Yeah, between the 2x4 and the foam. I'm going to foam that all the way down. It gets bigger towards the bottom. And right in here, then I'm going to Where does it say that? Thin batts on sides. We have all of this real thin stuff. I'm going to cut up some, it's probably about 2 inches. Cut up some thin batts for that, and then put batts all the way along here and all the way on that other side. I don't believe I need any foam on this side. Fairly good gap on the bottom there. No. Nope. Don't need any foam on this side, but I'll put the batts in there. One of the first ones was heat the foam. It's about 60 degrees in here, and I want that foam at the hottest you can apply it, which is about 90 degrees. Because when I foam these big openings up at the top, it goes to the outside, and it's really cold out there. I don't want that affecting the foam at all. And if I heat the foam up to its maximum, it's going to work just fine, just like this stuff. This was heated as well. And you could see, well, maybe you couldn't see, but on the other side where it's squeezed out, no different than the inside. So I'll get all of this stuff as well. Some of the real fine gaps, I don't have to do anything to. It's got complete coverage of foam, and it's squeezed out on the other side. At a later date, I'll just put tape over these seams and then put the wood over that, the 3/4 inch plywood, and it'll be done. But the bigger gaps like this, those are going to get filled as well. So first thing to do is move everything off this wall, and then I'll use that little ladder because it's a lot lighter. I got to go all the way across on the top and get them big gaps, and I'll get any little stuff that I see along the way. Not a whole hell of a lot of it. A little bit right there. Yeah, not much at all. It's mostly those big gaps up there. Okay, now that we got the floor a little clean, first thing I'm going to do is cut the strip for right here. I want to get that in place and let the glue dry before I add foam to it, because that might push it out of place. I don't believe I have any of the PL300 glue left, so if I don't, I'll cut the tubes open and get the very last out of the bottom of them if it hasn't dried yet. And I believe I'll just cut my strip right out of here and then cut this door flush. Alright, I have my foam all nice and shook up, and I have my ladder in position. What I'm going to do is just go up and foam that U shape, move the ladder, and I'm going to work my way all the way down. This is one of the cans where it's not reusable, so I have to use as much of it as possible right away. So if the can doesn't run out by the end, I'll come down and start working on the bottom and these bigger gaps on the sides right here. All right, sounds like a plan. Oh, jeez. Stuff's gonna get all over the floor, but it is what it is. As long as you don't try cleaning it up until it's dry. Okay, I got this side up to right there, the bottom of that girt there, and that entire bottom there, the bottom over here, and no, I didn't get that, but I got all the joists. Those were the most important by far, because that has to be dry and I have to shave that off so I can put my cleat in here that'll hold the F and J, so I can put the last piece of tin in. So now I'm on my second can. I'm gonna do from that girt up, and then, where was that? Oh, pretty much everything I can reach. Right here, and then there's a couple other ones. I'll work my way down to the other end, and then start on the bottom right there, and whatever else I can get on the bottom. I have one more can, but I don't think I'm going to open that. At least one can of this non-reusable. Anything that's left, I'll use the reusable can and save the non-reusable for some stuff that I got to do a little bit later. Okay, let's get started over there. Got this plenty nice and shook up. Yeah, it's not gonna work very well for you guys seeing this because it's so tight back in here. That is one of the hardest parts of using this stuff, is keeping the can upside down. It's almost impossible in some instances. lot of this stuff's going to go on the floor. And like I said before, as long as you don't touch it until it's dry, you won't have a problem. But if you start trying to wipe it up, it's going to smear all over the place. And this stuff is basically a glue, so you have a big mess on your hands. Jeez. And I have a big mess on my hands anyways. Boy, can you feel the cold air coming underneath that door. I should have a rag for this, but I don't. Okay, like I said I was going to do, I cut a bunch of 2-inch strips out of this thinner material, this batt, and I stuffed it in on both sides, filled it all in. I have a tiny little opening at the F and J on both sides, but I'm going to fill that when I go along and trim this stuff. Like I said before, I have to trim just up to the joist, and then there's going to be a board right underneath the joist, and that's going to have the F&J on it. Once that's done, I can get this last panel in. But for the most part, this is done. This complete wall is done. I'm going to come back a little bit later tonight, and I'm going to fill in a few of these gaps. Really not much at all. Just here and there, and I thought I saw, yeah, I'm going to fill in like that. A couple other places probably take like 10 minutes, and then I'm going to trim this stuff right by the door. This is really wet. I'm going to have to let this dry for a couple hours. I need to trim on both sides of the door like this, nice and flush, so I can put a panel up here nice and tight to keep the cold out. And as I said earlier, we only have 2 more days of this super cold weather. Then it gets up to nearly 40. It's going to rain next week. So won't be much of a problem then, but it is going to be a problem in the next couple of days. So I'm going to end this video now. The next video will likely be me trimming the bottoms of these joists and getting the boards in, getting the F&J. I'm not sure if I can get the panels in as well. I should be able to, depends on how long of a day it is. But I believe I can get that board in, get the F&J, and get the panels in, because there's only a couple screws on each one. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.